got cold freezing hands that don't fucking work when they're warm.
Does that make any sense?
Did to me. Fuck off.
What are you doing?
A grand summary.
Well, kind of, yeah. I mean, you're measuring up for putting a new engine in this, aren't you?
Yeah, the
So
guy. I mean, that's a
So what car is? Start off with what car is this?
Volvo Sugga, S-U-G-G-A. I've never seen one before. An old flathead, straight six. They're not very powerful at all. So, basically, having a conversation with Ivor, he said you've only got to look at a hill, and it slows down. You know what I mean? It's got no power at all. But that's why they were like that. Was you've got all your different gear ratios on the splitter box. I mean, you'll climb up a mountain, but it'll just do it at 2 miles an hour.
Yeah.
That's the issue. So you want something with a bit more power in it, and the weight of the vehicle and the size of it. You don't want to put a small engine in it, if you know what I mean. You need something with a fair bit of power. So a big block V8 is the way to go. You can put a small block in it, but for the difference in size, it's not worth worrying about. Just stick a big block in it.
So the first thing to do with putting a new engine in is to make sure what you're going to buy is going to fit.
Physically fit in the hole. I'm not worried about engine mounts, gearbox mounts, prop shafts, anything like that. Whether it will actually fit when that wing's on there in that hole without fouling on that steering. We know, like I said, we're looking at about 24 inches wide across the rockers, because you can, on the hot rod site there, they've got all the engine dimensions. So worst case scenario is you've got two, say 25 inches, doesn't really matter. So we know that's 25 there, yeah?
Yep.
Height wise, you can, as long as I'm clearing that, as long as the rocker box cover clears that, and you can get to the back spark plug that side, you can bring it up to there. So it will physically fit in that hole. The engine will be offset, we know that, but there's nothing you can do about it. It's just the way it's set up. So even if you went down to a foot offset there, projected that forward, you've still got enough here to get the hole in, because don't forget the engine's only going to be going to there.
Why is the engine offset? Is it just the design?
Just the design, probably, for that great big steering box. But if the steering works, leave it alone. You don't want to get into taking that apart on one of these.
The fact that the engine's offset, wouldn't that unbalance the car? Or on such a big car, it wouldn't make any difference?
Doesn't make any difference at all to that. A lot of racing cars, they're set like that.
Oh, okay.
On the racing cars, it's so you can get down lower. You can get your seat down lower. The gearbox runs up the side of you here instead of in between your legs. So they offset them and they sit down lower in the car. So front pulley to rear of block, 27.2, so 27 inches basically. So if we go from there, we've got 27 inches, that's centre line of crankshaft, which is good. If you want to come an inch there for clearance, so let's go 28. That might be the only issue, that pipe there. I might have to reroute that, that's for the front diff locker. 28, basically 28 takes us to the front of there, and that gives us an inch clearance at the back. Not forgetting it's a V8, yeah, so what you've got coming down here will be very narrow, and then it comes up and does that.
Yeah.
So you then know that it will clear that. I mean, looking at it, actually, if you really wanted to move that over, you could. You can space that way. It doesn't make any difference to your steering geometry. That's just pushing and pulling. So if you wanted to put that over there by that much, take that washer bottle out, or that much, you could do it. That wouldn't be the end of the world. You'll have a TH400 gearbox, which is bulletproof. You only would have to run a transmission cooler on it because it'll be under quite a lot of load.
What else needs doing to the car that you know about?
I know you said about the rear suspension. I haven't looked at it yet. On somewhere on these mounts where the shocks are, there's something's cracked up underneath, so I've got to have a look at that. Not quite sure exactly what he meant, but at the end of the day, he's coming down to pick the engine and gearbox up so he can show me. I'll get underneath and have a look. Apart from that, I think that's about it really. So we've got nice block supports there, so depending on where the gearbox mount is on a TH400, I might have to build another cross member in across the chassis, which is easy to do. I'll just put a mounting lug in the centre of that there and come off of these on a rubber mount, and that will hold it on a triangle. Fuel supplies there, starter supplies on the right, the starter's on the same side on a big block Dodge. The only, like I say, the only issue we might have is getting that alternator in, because originally it's this side, but there's nothing to stop me putting it on that side, just extending the wires. But what you want to try and do is keep it all as original as you can without cutting great chunks of it about, which
Yeah, definitely.
you don't want to do, you know.
And you mentioned brakes. No, they didn't feel too good.
They certainly didn't feel brilliant to me, but I don't know. I mean, obviously it's going to have more power, but it all depends on how hard you put your foot on the throttle. If you don't want to go fast, don't put your foot on the throttle.
But you got to stop.
Yeah. It might have been because it was going backwards, I don't know, I haven't driven it around. But if you want to upgrade, I'm sure there are upgrades you can do, be it put a servo on it, or they're just big old drum brakes, you know. Got to try it, haven't you?
So is this the first Volvo you've worked on?
I've done some old Amazons and the ones before that, I can't remember what they're called, PV 544s or something like that. I've done some work on them, but I've never even seen one of these.
And what's your perception on Volvo?
Strong, well made, yeah, like the road cars really. They're just big old solid lumps, aren't they?
Next week on the workshop.
This is the old adage of don't throw anything away. We had that conversation the other day, Mark, didn't we?
Tell you what, I've done it once, never again.